Hello students, we are going to be continuing in our Latin America geography information, and so we are going to move into information about Central America. So our three subregions of Latin America are Mexico, Central America, and South America. So we already talked about Mexico's geography, so now we're going to talk about Central America's geography. And what I want to do here first is well, actually, I'll do that in a second. We are going to look at the information here for 1.1 physical geography. That's on page 143 in the textbook. And under Central America, we're looking for what is an isthmus. And so I'm gonna begin reading at the top here and then go into Central America. Central America and the Caribbean islands are located between the continents of North America and South America. The physical geography of the region supports the agriculture and tourism that are so valuable to the region's economy. Central America is an isthmus, a narrow strip connecting two large land areas. A range of volcanic mountains spreads across the 7 countries of the region. The climate in the mountains is cool, and the rich volcanic soil is ideal for growing coffee beans, an important export. I think I'll pause there for a moment so that we can answer a couple of these questions. So the isthmus here, a narrow strip connecting two large land areas. And Central America is an isthmus. And actually, I'm going to add this in here too. That connects North America and South America. And okay, so you should be able to type this in with no problem, but I needed to get it to fit in there, right? So Central America is an isthmus that connects North America and South America. So the countries from north to south that are located on the isthmus of Central America, there are 7 countries, and it mentioned that in the text. So we're going to look at a map here for a second. So I'm going to make this larger for us to look at. Okay, so here's Mexico, and Mexico is part of North America, and here is South America. And so here is our isthmus that is a narrow strip of land that is connecting 2 other areas of land, right? And so we have our 7 countries that are in Central America: Guatemala, Belize, El Salvador, Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, and Panama. So we are going to put that in our notes. We'll go back here. And so what I did here was I started at Mexico, but I put that in parentheses because that is what it's connecting together, North America and South America. And so we have Belize, Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, and Panama. So if you want to, you could just list out Belize, Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, and Panama. But you need to know that this isthmus connects Mexico to Colombia, or North America to South America. So I'm going to actually put that in here too. So this is North America and South America. We're also going to be doing some map work coming up, and we're going to be labeling and locating all of the countries of Central America and South America. And we're also going to include Mexico in that. And then we're also going to be learning some of the bodies of water that are in this map here that I just showed you a moment ago. So our next question, I believe I answered already in what we read here, but I'll read it a little bit again here. It says, what two things contribute to the ideal growing conditions for the coffee bean? So here is where it's talking about growing coffee beans. And it's before that talks about what helps it grow. So the climate in the mountains is cool, and the rich volcanic soil, that's what helps them grow. There we go. So our cool climate and rich volcanic soil. So again, in your notes, you don't have separate boxes. You can just list them out. I may have put bullet marks there for you, but if not, then just you can put a comma in between, or you can type 1 and then put a space, push enter and then put it below it. It's up to you. Okay, so then I'm gonna go forward here. What are the other two areas that provide resources to boost the economy? So I'm gonna continue reading here. The coastal plains, which are the lowlands next to the seacoast, and the tropical rainforests, heavily wooded forests that may receive more than 100 inches of rain per year, provide resources that boost the economy. So we've got both of these things highlighted, coastal plains and rainforests. So our next heading is the Caribbean islands. And before I move the page, I'm just going to preview the question and I'll read it, and then I'll switch it in case you're still typing. So the question that we're looking for, number 1, is what is an archipelago? So I'm going to read. The Caribbean islands curve in an archipelago, or a chain of islands between the Atlantic Ocean and the Caribbean Sea. Sugar cane grown on coastal plains is the leading crop. The climate is mild in the winter and hot in the summer, and attracts visitors year-round. So I'm going to switch the page here, and an archipelago is a chain of islands. Chain of islands. So number 2 is to name 3 archipelagos that are located in the Caribbean Sea using the map on page 142. So I am going to once again make this a little bit bigger, and I am going to go back to page 142. So we have chains of islands. So that means we're going to be looking over here in this area. And so we have what's called the Greater Antilles, and we have the Lesser Antilles here, and we also have the Bahamas. So all of these little islands here are a chain of islands, and that's the Bahamas. And then we have the Greater Antilles, which is Cuba, Jamaica, Haiti, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico. Those are the Greater Antilles. And then we have the Lesser Antilles that has things like the Virgin Islands, St. Kitts, St. Martin, Antigua and Barbados, Dominica, St. Lucia, Grenada, Trinidad, and Tobago. So they each have a lot of islands within them, but these are our 3 archipelagos, chains of islands, okay? And so we're gonna go back here. There we go. So we have the Greater Antilles, we have the Lesser Antilles, and then we have Bahamas. And then in that paragraph also, it was given us the answer to this next question. What is the leading crop grown on these islands? And that is sugarcane. Okay, and we are now going to move on to 1.2 Earthquakes and Volcanoes, which is on page 144 in the textbook. And we are looking at tectonic plate movements and what has caused the Caribbean islands to rise from the sea. So I'm going to read this first part again before I get into the tectonic plate movements. So Central America and many Caribbean islands were underwater millions of years ago. The formation of the mountains and the islands in this region show how physical geography can change over time. So tectonic plate movements. This region sits on a Caribbean plate. For tens of millions of years, this tectonic plate, a part of the Earth's crust, moved against other plates, causing land to rise and mountains and volcanoes to form. Some of the islands in the Caribbean are really just the tips of ancient volcanoes created by tectonic plate movement. So we have our answer to this first question here, and that is what has caused the Caribbean islands to rise from the sea? And it tells us here by tectonic plate movement. So we've got shifting of tectonic plates, which is going to make those islands rise from the sea. And as I said, most of them are just the tips of ancient volcanoes that have created these islands. For number 2, we're going to, it's kind of a fill in the blank. We're going to finish the sentence. Let's say it that way. So shifting tectonic plates causes earthquakes or seismic activity and something else. So I will read. The location of the islands on these plates is significant. Today, plates slowly continue to move, crashing into or sliding over or under each other. This movement causes earthquake or seismic activity and volcanic eruptions. An eruption in Montserrat in 1996 caused 2/3 of the population to flee their homes. So here we go. It causes earthquake or seismic activity and volcanic eruptions. So then we move into impact of earthquakes. And here again, you are filling in the blanks. Make sure that you're actually doing this correctly and that you're actually putting in the answer here in your notes. So I made the notes in blue and I put letters there instead of blank lines. So then you know to put in the answer, just like we've been doing on other assignments and just like we did on the notes for chapter 3. So this is talking about the earthquake in Haiti and what it measured on the Richter scale and how many deaths it led to, the kind of devastation it had. So I will read the impact of earthquakes. In 2010, Haiti experienced its most destructive earthquake in more than 200 years, measuring a 7.0 on the moment magnitude scale. The earthquake caused extensive damage to many of Haiti's cities, including its capital, Port-au-Prince. More than 200,000 people were killed and roughly 1 million were left homeless. So we, most people who are not geographers or geologists or other kinds of scientists call it the Richter scale. In the text here, they call it the moment magnitude scale. And so we are going to fill this in here. It measured a 7.0 on the moment magnitude scale. And it led to 200,000 deaths. And it left 1 million people homeless. And then the earthquake also destroyed critical systems, leaving Haitians without. So we're going to complete the sentence again there. And the earthquake also destroyed critical systems, extremely important services and supplies that community needs. Many Haitians were left without water, gas, electricity, transportation, or medical care. Donations poured in from around the world in an international effort to help Haiti recover and rebuild. So, a 7.0 on the Richter scale, or the moment magnitude scale, is very high and very destructive, obviously, when it led to 200,000 deaths and 1 million people homeless because it destroyed their homes. So that also meant that it left them without all of these things that were listed there: water, gas, electric, transportation, and medical care. Okay, so our next question says to use the Plates and Volcanoes map on page 145 to answer the following questions. So this is the map that's referring to here. The Plates and Volcanoes map. So our tectonic plates that we're talking about here are these lines that are separating the tectonic plates from each other, okay? So here we have the Caribbean plate, and our question is asking about the Caribbean plate. Let me switch over here first. So list the names of the 4 tectonic plates that touch the Caribbean plate. So as we look here, here's the Caribbean plate, right? So we have 4 that touch the Caribbean plate. And right here is the North American plate. Right here is the South American plate. And then here's the Caribbean plate, still it's coming down. So that means that it's also touching this one called the Nazca plate. And then it continues here and also touching the Cocos plate. Okay, so that is our answer. The North American plate, the South American plate, Cocos plate, and the Nazca plate. You can almost see all of them still here in the map that is on this page. North American plate, South American plate is right there. We can see part of it. Cocos plate, and the Nazca plate is right there. Actually, I can just do that and then you can see them, or at least most of them still. So I'll give you a moment to put those answers in. So our last 2 questions are also based on this map, so I will enlarge it again in just a moment. And number 2 is which country has had the strongest earthquake since 2000? Actually, I might just be able to move it over here and we can see it better. Yes. Okay, so major earthquakes in the region since 2000. That's what our key is giving us here. But we also have another key over there on the side. So which country has had the strongest earthquake since 2000? So strongest is the highest number. So on our list here, we look for the highest number is 7.7, right? Unless I'm missing it, but it looks like it is going in order, 7.7. And so our answer is El Salvador. And here's El Salvador right here, number 1, El Salvador. And then, which country in Central America has been the least affected by volcanic eruptions in the last 10,000 years? Now, to find that answer, we have to use this key right here. So known volcanic eruptions during the past 10,000 years. So we're looking for a location that does not have very many of these little triangles. Let's see if I can maybe make it a little bit bigger here to look at. Okay, so in Central America, so we're talking about all through here. And as we are looking for our little triangles, there's tons along here, right? Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Nicaragua has a few, Panama has 2, Honduras has a couple, and then some there on the border. But look, Belize doesn't have any. So Belize is our answer for that one. Okay, so that is where we're going to stop for part 1 of these notes today.